Yeah, so we've got Jake on um creativity and Reed on Old Faithful. Now, this isn't as old as Reed and I are, but in spirit, this is the deck that we have grown accustomed to. And as you can see, it is just a beautiful hand, only two of the three colors. This is just reminiscent of everything that I remember about playing Jund.
Yeah, a very classic Jund hand where it's just one for one's an interaction like it's long. I mean, every hand from Reed's deck kind of just looks the same. You're looking to interact early and then like set up some sort of long game value engine. Uh, Jake's hand a little less what you want to see from creativity.
Yeah, I assume that Jake is going to be sending that back, which it did, and yeah, this is the old let's just hope to get to turn 4 and there's no uh quick interaction kind of draw. But as we know that that Reed has that kind of on lock right now. So, Reed was talking about how this is a bad matchup, but anything is possible. And with a mulligan, with the cards lining up correctly, Reed could take early game if Jake isn't able to find some mid game interaction.
Yeah, mulligans in particular are so brutal against Jund. I mean, we're seeing the Inquisition here, but Reed's deck has 6 discard spells, and it's just really hard to get to that critical mass of material needed for the Jund deck. If you see a lot needed for the creativity deck, if you see a lot of early interaction from the opposition.
Yeah, and that's what we're seeing. So it does look like Jake is going to fire that freshly drawn Thoughtseize immediately, and probably be a little sad with what's found. A redundant Orcish Bowmaster, which is able to interact with that Dwarven Mind if it comes to it, as well as I guess like a Fable that you don't want to take because Reed doesn't even have red mana for it yet.
Yeah, this is a slightly awkward position to put Reed in though, because if there's only that one Bowmasters, that's
Hmm.
Reed's only turn to play, and at the same time, it's Reed's only answer to the Dwarven Mine, which is face up. So you put Reed in a spot where he has to waste mana turn over turn to be able to play a functional game and still have interaction for this creativity.
Yeah. All right. So we do see that Lightning Bolt goes to graveyard. Yeah. If Jake's able to find a land, then it's going to be very difficult for Reed to engage with both Fable and Dwarven Mine. So we see Reed having to find a red source here, and instead finds a red casting spell.
Yeah, and none of Reed's one-offs for to tutor with Saga actually do anything about Dwarven Mine. There's a Mishra's Bauble, and Nihil Spellbomb, and a Pithing Needle. So never mind. Sometimes
Yeah,
you just don't hit your third non-mine land, I suppose.
there is a fail rate. So now I guess yeah, we're gonna see a stubble from Jake and some more applied pressure from Reed. Another red card, and so yeah, these two constructs are gonna have to do a lot of heavy lifting in this game. But already at 12 life, like we're close to Jake needing to draw an untapped land this next turn.
Yeah, and we're getting to the point where even if Jake manages to put an Archon into play, there's some chance he's still not able to win this game if Reed finds like interaction, a red land to use that unholy heat with and kill the Archon. We could just see him getting in for a lot of damage over the next turn or two and winning through an Archon in play.
Yeah, because yeah, this will be 5 damage, dropping Jake to 9, and Archon would or dropping to 7, excuse me, and Archon will go to 10. And so I don't think we would see lethal in that one turn window.
Well, we'd also see another Orcish Bowmaster bang.
Yep.
So I believe that would be one off lethal.
All right. So what option? What do you think Reed is going to take with this selection? There's so many choices.
I think you maybe just have to take Bobble at this point. You really need that. You need to find that red land. There's enough types in the graveyard for unholy heat, so there's an actual answer to Archon. You just need to find a land to make sure you can do it.
All right, here we go. Oh, no land here. So it's just going to be Fable Pass. Or are we going to see that Ren? No, Fable pass. I think we're going to see Reed Duke sneak a game out here.
And yeah, I mean, this is a testament to the strength of the strength of the Jund deck, right? It does. You stumble, you miss lands, you keep a hand that's like a 6 with only that really leans on one spell, and Jund punishes you for it. Against any other deck, Ren and 6 would have gotten there this game, but with that
I
hand
think
attack, it's really tough.
I think you can replace Jund with Reed Duke in that statement, and both would apply. All right, so we're gonna have to see the shaman blocking one of the constructs. And yeah, that's 2 life. I don't really know what is possible here. Oh, that Jacantha. Got to get to 5 red cards in hand. I like it. I like the mini game. And another Archon. Oof. All right, so as a also Jund creativity player in the next round, I am not feeling too good about the deck's top deck potential.
Okay, I found the line. What Reed needs to do is draw 2 copies of Persist, discarding the 2 Archons. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
There's an Arkish Bowmaster in play. I missed that one.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to see sideboarding. Here Reed doesn't have a ton of options for this matchup. A few cards that will interact with graveyards, but besides that, that's I like the Plague Engineers. I missed that initially when I looked through the deck list, but that stops the Dwarven Mines.
Yeah, did the Alpine Moon come in as well? Yeah, that's another trick to stop the Dwarven Mine. So lots of little incremental advantages. Uh, we see Jake considering taking out the Persist, and I really like that here. Recognizing the Jund deck, recognizing that the Jund mid range deck is really good at interacting with your graveyard postboard between the Nihil Spellbomb off Saga and Stone of Eric and Soul Guide Lantern. So you might as well just lean harder on put stuff into play with creativity, maybe off treasures because Reed doesn't have much interaction for your treasures and such, and try and leverage that to win the game rather than going with the persist route.
Now, before they're done sideboarding, I do have a question for you. Hypothetical: if Jake was actually against Yawgmoth, how do you think he should be sideboarding?
Well, I think what Jake should do in that spot is take out all the Archons of creativity and just put in
Interesting.
like a bunch of random non-creature sideboard cards in.
Just hard cast those Trastodons. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the winning play.
Well, you don't need to bring in the Terrastodons. Just take out the Archons of cruelty
just
and no creatures.
pick your poison at that. Is that what you're saying? As
Yeah,
long
that sounds great. Gotta get the Soul Cauldron somehow.
yeah. All right, so we're gonna see game 2 openers. Jake on the play with what? Oh, that's a nasty hand. We've got turn 1 Veil to protect that red and 6. And Reed, just all the confidence in the world, kept that one lander. And does find a come to play tap. This is so Jund.
Now in Reed's spot, I think you kind of priced into playing out the proving ground, which works quite well against his Veil.
Yeah, and also, even if it, it, you're not always expecting a Veil of the Summer, and this is just the best way for Reed to develop the draw. Now, with an Inquisition, a Lightning Bolt, Orcish Bowmaster, all these cards can start interacting, but that Ren and 6 is going to be very important in play.
Yeah, we talked about how this Jund deck is really about shrinking the game and trying to keep your opponent on like as little resources as possible. And Ren and 6 is just really bad for that game plan because it's going to be a 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 by just getting lands turn over turn. And once the creativity deck is regularly hitting its land drops, it does a pretty good job going over the top of the mid range deck.
Yeah, and when you are the smaller of the two, effectively a mirror match, and by that I mean a mid-range deck in this situation, you have to try to do something they're not doing. And so following up their Ren and 6 with your own Ren and 6 is not the optimal game plan. And while we're seeing an Inquisition, I did not expect that. I assumed that it was going to have to be a Ren and 6.
Yeah, I think the plan here, like once that Ren 6 is in play, like playing your own Ren and 6 game is going to be really hard. So I see the appeal of Inquisition to try and hope your opponent has just the one haymaker that's actually going to like try and get them towards winning the game. And if you can nab it with Inquisition, maybe that's a way to steal the game.
Yeah, and it does seem like we are having technical difficulty with Jake's hand. So we are all now going to become Reed fans and play from that perspective. All right, so Ren picks that fetch land. And I missed it initially. The scry, or excuse me, the surveil ended up putting an arc on the graveyard. So those two persists, if they're still in the deck, are live.
Yeah,
All right.
this is a pretty tough spot for Reed, but it he is able to leverage the asymmetric information here, which is kind of nice. Like Reed knows Jake's hand and can play around that Veil of Summer we know is there, but Jake doesn't know Reed's hand, so is leaving up a Veil of Summer even though there's nothing to play around. And the temper that Reed gets from that might allow him to maybe try and get under this Ren and 6 and keep Jake off of getting any Archons.
All right. So just both players using Ren and 6 to claw their way up on resources. Ooh, yeah, just deploying that Bitter Union. Just a little bit of sifting.
And
Oh,
that has got to be a bad sign for Reed, seeing Jake only discard. Uh, oh, pardon. Seeing Jake get a look at two new cards in addition to the several Reed already knows in hand is just pretty tough because at some point the creativity deck's going to get up to actually just casting those Archons, and Reed hasn't shown anything of a clock yet.
well, Reed is playing for that game, right? Because Plague Engineer will be able to shrink them to a 5/5.
Oh, that's a good
And
point. And then with
yes,
between the Ren and 6 Bowmaster and Lightning Bolt, you can deal exactly 5 damage.
exactly. Yeah. So Reed has that covered. Uh all right. So I'm guessing Reed will be scrying this turn. I don't think this would be a deploying a lightning bolt. Uh but I
Yeah,
mean, in all honesty, like the game is not in a great spot for Reed, but given the hurdles, uh it's not as bad as a situation that I normally find myself in against Jund Creativity, which is I'm staring at an Archon already.
yeah. I'll say this for Reed's position: he's not already dead.
Exactly, yeah. You're not worrying about finding a removal spell for an Archon.
Yeah, there's some world in which Reed ends up bolting the Ren and 6 at end of turn, and then going with a Dash Ragavan plus Ren and 6 to take it down or something. But I just don't think you're at a point of the game where you can afford to go shields down against Ren and 6 against creativity anymore. So I think we're just kind of priced into leaving up Bowmasters for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and this might not be a bad way to deploy it on the Ren 6 now, so that you can be shields down on it going up and then uh hitting that ultimate, which with that lightning bolt in the graveyard will be an issue. So even if you can't kill the Ren and 6, Reed will need to find a window to interact with it.
Oh, actually, Reed can kill the Ren 6 without going shields down this turn. He can bolt it, then dash Ragavan -1 his own Ren to deal exactly 6 damage
Mm-hmm.
and leave up Orcish Bowmasters. So I could see that being the line he takes, yeah.
And that only works if Jake doesn't have either a fatal push or lightning bolt.
Yeah, but Reed saw Jake get rid of one Lightning Bolt, and I mean, I don't know that Reed could beat anything beyond a ham sandwich in Jake's head at this point anyway.
So it'd be 7 ham sandwiches in hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or maybe 6 ham sandwiches in a land. That would probably also be acceptable.
All right. Well, now is that going to change anything?
It's really interesting spot because Reed doesn't know how low Jake has gone on Pisces. So it could be tempting to play Stone of Eric and try and cover that angle. That said, I think if Jake had Pisces, he would have played it this turn. So it would need to be a top decked one for it to really be a problem for Reed. So I like his line.
All right, we'll see Ren drop down to 1 and some Ren on Ren action, taking it out. And now we've got Ren advantage with Duke. With Orcish Bowmaster on defense. Now, technically speaking, this is not a 100% solution for creativity.
Well, we know it's not a solution at all because we know
Exactly, yeah.
that creativity on 2 is a solution. There's also a face-up Veil of Summer, I believe, still in Jake's hand. So either way, Bowmaster is not quite going to cut it on its own.
All right, so that'll deal with 1 Archon. Here's the second. We'll see an army go down and then reappear.
Yeah, I could see Reed maybe sacrificing the Ren and 6 in this spot if he
Oh,
really
sure.
values applying pressure. But it's one way or another, it's kind of getting to the point where it's a removal spell for Archon or Bust. Oh, actually, the other reason I could see Reed
Yeah.
sacrificing the Ren and 6 is because that's the 4th type for Unholy Heat.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I suppose you could just discard the 1 in hand.
Yeah.
That works too.
All right. So now with Archon in play, the pressure is on Reed to find an answer. What is on the top of Reed's deck? Oh, yes. When you are in trouble, there is always a creature there to save you, and that is a Tarmogoyf. How big is this Tarmogoyf? I'm going to guess a 5/6.
That seems like a reasonable guess. I'd believe that.
Oh, I think I'm wrong. I think
Oh, it
that
might be 6.
yes, because there is a creature. Oh, yes. You know, just when you think that the mid-range deck is out of it, there comes the Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, the Doppelguy's definitely doing a lot to sway the game here. I mean, who could say who'd win now that that's in play?
Oh, it's not in play. We couldn't prioritize it this turn. We are saving the best for last. All right, so 6 land comes down for Jake. Has a full grip of 7 cards. And what are we going to see? Maybe a fatal push on that. Yeah, get that out of the way. We got to stop that army production.
Yeah, every turn that the Archon stays in play is just brutal for Reed. I mean, like this one turn alone, he's so far behind on resources that even if he finds a removal spell for the Archon, I have a hard time imagining him get back into this at this point.
Don't you do it. Don't you Reed, no. Oh, how could you let us down? Bring Jund to mid range and discard the Tarmogoyf. Now we're gonna see a game 3 and that Tarmogoyf's gonna go all the way.
That's a hope, at least. I have to say, I'd be quite thrilled to see a Tarmogoyf get there in 2024. Good to see Old Faithful still up to its old work.
Has it I mean, Reed already said it. It's gotten there in a preliminary. It's a goal accomplished. I do miss when Tarmogoyf was king. Um, what is sad if we're going to be critical on Reed's list is the last time that I played Jund Saga, I also put a Dark Confidant in just for the memes, and I was hoping to see that today. But all right, so we have another Bowmaster with we can get 5 damage on the no, yeah, we need way more mana to do that.
So would you believe that that Terra Thunder just won Jake the game? Because
Yep.
there would have been 6 mana in play for Reed, and he could have gone Bowmaster with the Ragavan attack. He could have gone Bowmaster's Lightning Bolt your Archon, shrink it with Plague Engineer, and down take Ren.
I was just putting that together, and that would have been amazing, but I still don't think it would have won the game.
No, that might be a bit of a stretch, I'll admit.
All that for a drop of blood. All right, so coming down, taking care of this miner to get that that Ragavan hit in. And is there anything interesting off the top? Not really.
I don't believe so.
Potentially
Oh,
Bitter Triumph.
Bitter Triumph, yeah, to try and find Unholy Heat.
Transmogrify is also a removal spell.
That's true. That's
It
another one, I suppose.
it would kill the Archon in play.
That is technically correct.
All right, so there goes the dwarf sent to die.
I suppose there's one Archon in exile in one play. It's possible Drake has the other two in his hand.
Yeah, that is possible. I didn't even think about that, and I'm guessing it must have just been a land. Yeah, is this must be lethal, right? I yeah, there it is. All right, so as we go to sideboarding for game 3, yeah, let's go back to that Jund Creativity sideboard plan against Yawgmoth. Because I'm pretty sure I don't sideboard. And I'm not sure if that's right. Should I be bringing Pick Your Poison in the matchup?
Yeah, you should be bringing. Let me just see what there is. You have Giganta in here. Oh no, that's in Reed's deck.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, yes.
hmm. Yeah, I really like the pick your poisons. Also, taking out all the Archons, that's the most important part. They're really just too slow. I mean, it's not a matchup of which you want an 8 drop. So really, like, if you get those out of the deck, anything should be good.
So what do I say my creativity is for if you play Yawgmoth so I can kill it?
Yeah,
Is that
exactly,
that's
exactly.
the game plan?
Yeah, I've got all these mopey creatures in my deck, you know? Yeah, like, you're gonna play
Upgrade some
Yawgmoth
young wolves.
into a young wolf.
Oh. No, but I actually do think I'm looking and I'm like, I didn't think about this matchup, and I'm pretty sure I just don't sideboard.
I haven't looked at your sideboard that much, but yeah,
So
one of the things.
I think that because I don't sideboard, you should also not sideboard.
That's a compelling argument. I'll
We
consider it.
should be fair here.
Uh-huh. I don't think anyone's ever accused Yawgmoth or creativity of being a fair deck. The only one being fair here this afternoon is Reed.
It is and Carbon.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know if that deck does that deck have a win condition or a good matchup.
Well, I mean, surely I've seen how fast Common plays. Eventually, opponent's clock will run out.
That's fair. Oh no, Reed. All right, mulliganing into all interaction, no pressure. Oh, this is so delightful. This is just like 10 years of my competitive career just replaying in one match.
I think this is a really interesting spot for Reed. I don't think he can go to 5, and these are 4 completely different angles of attack against the creativity deck. So it's really tough to decide which one you want to prioritize and what you want to bottom. I could see an argument for basically anything here.
Yeah, you know, on the play, I do feel like it has to be a spell, but with surveillance, maybe you can afford
Oh,
pitching the basic land.
yeah, I'd definitely go for one of the spells here, but I think an argument can be made for any of them. Alpine Moon and Unholy Heat are really probably one of those two because they kind of cover the same base.
Somewhat, but you still have to worry. Like this hand is soft. I mean, the Inquisition can deal with Fable, but that is also an easy way for Jake to just really solidify an early advantage.
Yeah, definitely. Fable. I mean, I think at this point we just gotta hope. I keep a piece of interaction, it lines up well, and I top deck answers to everything else. Is probably his best bet.
Oh, that was a very interesting first land. I thought we would see Dwarven Mind there.
Yeah, I think I think Jake is really hoping to just chain lands here, and fetching for a surveil land is fairly likely to help that. Um, Bitter Reunion looks exciting with the Archon in hand, but I think Jake was somewhere between 0 and 2 pisses. So it makes sense to try and prioritize just like trying to naturally hit land drops in Dwarven Mine. If you don't think Bitter Reunion is doing very much for you, slash is unlikely to survive till the next turn in your hand.
That makes a lot of sense. And now this is getting rewarded because uh Reed took the other awesome 2-drop that Jake could have deployed. So Jake is also just on removal spells and an Archon.
Yeah, and we see some really smart play from Reed here, where he could definitely have deployed either Alpine Boon or Stone of Eric, but he knows Jake's hands. He knows there's no threat of reanimation, so no risk to run out Stone of Eric. And running out Alpine Moon will actually help Jake develop his mana better because it'll make the
Mhm.
Dwarven Mind tap for any color, and I think enter untapped. So might as well not play out either of those, and this lets him get a Surveil land to try and find some actual action.
All right. Well, if Reed does find a piece of action this next turn, besides pulling Gigantha to hand, then I think that we might have a game on our hands. All right, let's put Gigantha into our hand.
I mean, 5/5 will kill Jake eventually. And I
Think
mean,
about a 5/6 though.
the nice thing about all of those, both of those creatures, is they can both kill an Archon with a Plague Engineer in play.
Oh, that there it is. All right, are we getting the forest or are we taking two? Oh, getting the basic forest. It's beautiful. 3 mana, draw a 5/5.
We're seeing
Oh,
a little bit of why of an advantage the Jund deck has post mod that doesn't so much game one. Where game one of them, where post mod, both players are bringing in some sort of interaction. Like the Sun doesn't pick up poison for all of Reed's head pieces, and Reed has his own 8 pieces with Stone of Eric and Alpine Moon. But the thing that matters is Stone of Eric cantrips is findable off Saga, and Jake's deck can't function through hate pieces. But if Jake
mm-mm.
just draws answers for hate pieces, Reed's deck still gets to function.
Yes, that is it's one of those interesting philosophies around mid-range where uh it's most of the time any type of archetype is going to get more mid-rangey after sideboard. And the true mid-range deck gets to afford to have stronger sideboard cards in most cases. Now, combo control kind of breaks that mold wide open, but it's one of the reasons why I've always played mid-range decks is because after sideboard, everyone has to come to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, John Creativity, famously a very mid-rangey deck, so I understand why you picked it.
Oh, I picked it because I just looked at the competition and assumed that I would have to get lucky and hit some haymakers. I'm not that's the honest reason. Whenever I go into competition that is going to be fierce, I want to play an exceptionally powerful deck. And typically that's a Primeval Titan deck, but I will since this is televised, I would not embarrass myself trying to go through lines with Titan after watching everyone else do it so well over the course of the last month.
I think you sell yourself short. I'm excited to see you on Titan in top 4.
Will you teach me?
I mean, you already watched my match. What else is there to know?
That's true. Yeah. All right. So we have it. All right. We just have to fade this loot. We have to fade the next 2 cards, and we've got a 5/5 swinging. All right. So we're gonna see Archon go, and oh, this is such a good sweat. We got to fade any source of black, which is already in play. We have to sweat any. Oh, there it is.
Well, that at the very least doesn't let that be an arc on this turn.
That is true. Yeah. So what we can see here is I guess it's not even that great. It's attack and bitter triumph in combat.
And then yeah, there's not a land for Ren 6 to get back either. So Jake is still not doing very much. Oh, I suppose he could Terrace under the Urza Saga. I don't hate that.
Yeah, that's the other line that I think you can take right now is just get rid of that Urza Saga. Because you're going to have enough cardboard in play for that Transmogrify. You're not going to need to hope to utilize the Tear Sunder against an Alpine Moon.
Yeah, no land here for Jake is actually really tough.
Mm-hmm.
The Ren and 6 is what I think he's most looking to in a spot like this to dig him out of the small game, and not having that being stuck on 3 lands when you have these expensive spells in your deck. Creativity, you really want to be costing for 2 here. You want to find something like, I mean, you want to eventually get to the point of hard casting Archons to go over the top. And when none of those options at 3 mana, it gives Reed a lot of time to try and find something. One thing I will note is that's kind of awkward for Reed in this spot is we saw Reed fetch the Stomping Ground 2 turns ago on an tap at an end step, and the reason for that is Reed's deck only has 1 Surveil land. It would be really nice for Redia to be able to set up future draws with that Bloodstained Maya, but because of all the 1 and 2 mana interaction spells Jund deck has, it's really hard to fit a second Surveil land. So that does, like, over a long game mean he's going to be drawing a bunch of dead draws because his lands don't give him value the same way Jake's do.
Yeah, and that might be a deck building decision because there is a Proving Grounds over Surveil Land, which is interesting to me.
Yeah, that one Proving Ground makes a lot of sense to me in a Ren and 6 deck. You just want to have
Yeah.
something you can loop for value. But yeah, we've seen like the Gorio's decks and such having 3-4 Surveil lands, and Reed's deck is just nowhere close to that.
All right, so going to combat, the Shaman token is going to go down, and I'm guessing we're going to see Bitter Reunion.
I'd imagine so. This Thoughtseize doesn't look great.
And if this hits a fetch, then well, we're still not operational with Ren and 6, but we can get it into play and start ticking up.
Yeah, I mean, it'll hit -7 eventually. Reed's got to do something about it.
All right, so this is it. This is where Judd needs to show up. The game is in a stall. The combo opponent's deck is failing them. If there's ever a time for Jund to show us the power, it is this turn by top decking Tarmogoyf. Here we go. Oh, okay. Well, that we're gonna stop them from having the persist line.
It's a redraw too. That could be Tarmogoyf off this Nihil Spellbomb. I still believe.
Yeah, this has to just get popped right here.
Yeah, given there's an Archon already in the graveyard, I don't think Reed is getting much else out of it, and he really needs to find a way to apply pressure.
Just contemplating if that's the play, but I do think it is. You just gotta. Yes, it's
Yeah.
better than Tarmogoyf. It's take your graveyard Tarmogoyf. We've got a 6-7. We've got a game.
I appreciate Reed highlighting the Tamagotchi to show us just how big it is.
I think this is this is our director. All right, so we've got Fetchland. Oh, Red and 6 is great and all, but wait, what's happening?
Well,
Oh, it's just killing. I forgot cards are good now.
it's
All right,
fine.
Tarmogoyf is gone.
It's fine. It's fine. That was just clearing the way for the
That was
second
the yeah,
Tamagotchi.
that's no. All right, we're gonna say goodbye to Red and 6.
I
All
think
right.
I think that oh well I guess it's a moot point at this point, but I think that Alpine Moon was safe face up too. So if Jake draws a creativity at this point, the game's just over. It's all about just finding something and ending the game.
Arid Mesa is not it. So
This this Fable is starting to get close though with
it
that
is.
lightning bolt in hand.
It is. All right. Well, that will be able to take out that Kiki and with all right, so we're gonna get a surveil on. And now we're starting to creep into we're just gonna draw and cast an Archon.
Yeah, I believe that's 1 mana off from Jake.
All right. Kept the top. Oh, okay. Kept the top card just to protect against the next Tarmogoyf. I respect it.
Gotta respect Tamagotchi.
Yeah, gotta respect the long game. All right, there's Edict. And now we're on a stall. What is the best card for Reed to draw this turn? Oh, that might be one of them.
That's up there for sure, particularly given the fatal push. Uh, we talked about the Surveillance and Reed's deck, but Jake's deck has actually 3 of them. So there might be yet another Surveillance coming out this turn.
Yeah, I do imagine that'll be the case.
And yeah, that Alpine Moon actually kind of doing work here because if there'd been more 1/1s in play and Reed had lost a few more life, he'd be in danger.
All right, and there's the Ren and 6, which gets to 8 total mana, which will allow for any top deck Archon to come into play. And we're gonna see a 1/1 construct this next turn. Inquisition takes a removal spell.
Yeah, it's hard seeing a way out for Reed here. There's not even that many lands left in Jake's deck. How much longer can he draw lands for, right?
Well, at least one one more turn, but that's quite a good one.
Yeah, it answers the Saga and or the Alpine Moon, really, either way. Well, I suppose it answers both with Ren and 6.
Yes. That is a dynamic duo of modern now.
And at this point, I'm wondering how many basic lands does Reed have in his deck?
I'm seeing 3.
Okay, so we got to get through all the Stomping Grounds and Blood Crypts first, but at some point, this mana's going to start decreasing.
Yeah, whoever decided to put the piece of text a basic land card or whatever the basic land type card
Mhm.
on that was oof, forward thinking.
I mean that Plague Engineer covers your bases against 2 Mind tokens, I suppose.
And it's keeping the Inquisition before deploying is interesting.
Yeah, I
What are we
suppose.
saving the Inquisition for?
Uh, I'm not entirely sure. It could be that Reed's hoping that there's a pivotal turn where Jake has to like draw a bunch of cards and then gets inquisitioned. So something like chaining bitter reunions and then doesn't have the mana to deploy the cards in his hand. There's not much else it can do here.
Okay, so we're gonna see Boseiju taking out that moon. And yeah, there
And I
goes
think
push. There's mine. Oh, and another Fable. Fable on the wrong side.
this game is slowly starting to slip out of Reed's grasp. Well, maybe not that slowly, but
I strongly disagree with you because I don't think it was ever in Reed's grasp. We're just supposed to make it interesting. This
oh, I was trying to suspend disbelief for chat.
I don't get out much. This is why I'm not invited to commentate that often. Thanks, Miko Masters. All right, so down to 5. That leaves Reed with one more turn here.
I believe this is just lethal, right? Lightning bolt face, and then the 1/1 plus the -1 from Ren 6 gets Reed to 0.
That is true, yes. All right, so down to 2. And writing is on the wall. Oh, insult to injury.
You know, in case Jake feels like rubbing it in a little bit.
Yeah, I do see someone in chat talking about their points from stream, and I too invested all of mine. I am now stream points broke.
See, I saved all my points for our match, so that way
Vote for yourself.
Well, no, I can wager on you, and that way, you know.
You can hedge.
Exactly. Either way, I win.
All right, welcome back, everyone. That was the first match of our quarterfinals.